Good morning and welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave. This is a special edition because what I'm going to be doing in this short video, and hopefully I'll keep it short, guys. I know I tend to go a little long in the tooth, as they maybe say over here in England, but I'm going to be summarizing the content that you're about to see over the next few weeks. Many of you know that Kathy and I are celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary with a massive, really amazing trip where we flew over to London, England. We took a cruise to France and Spain, and now we're back in England. And I find myself here in Stratford-upon-Avon, this awesome little town just sort of northwest of London. And what I thought I would do is kind of summarize what you're about to see over the next few weeks. I've recorded so much content, including some special, really incredibly special videos. And I've had the pleasure of being able to rent 4 different EVs, 3 of which I've never driven before, and I can't wait to give you reviews on those. So let's get into this short little video where I'll summarize all the content that you're about to see. Kathy's still asleep up in the room here, and of course it's raining here in England. So let's get into it. All right, so we arrived in London Heathrow about 11 days ago. I can't even remember. And the idea was we had a couple of days to rent a car and drive down to Exeter, England, visit a friend, and then end up in Southampton literally like the next day. And so, you know, of course, a lot of fun is when you get to pick out a new car, whether you're buying them or renting them, right? So, you know, that's going to be a fun one. They wanted to put me in a Polestar 2. I didn't want that. I've rented those before. And then there was a Lexus. They wouldn't let me do a one-way drop-off to Southampton. And so I had a couple of restrictions. And just as I was about to take this Polestar 2, and Kathy was saying, man, this thing is just doesn't have a lot of room for you, Dave. I looked across, and there was a BYD Atto 3. And, you know, BYD's been giving a run for the money for Tesla lately, and I was like, can I rent that? And they were like, no, you can't get that car. But in any event, I convinced them to rent me the car, and I did a one-way drop-off on that. So I'll be doing a couple of different videos with the BYD Atto 3, and one of which is a road trip video where we drove down to Exeter. In fact, we saw Stonehenge, which was very cool. And we're going to be, there's going to be a few videos that are going to be more travelogue-y in terms of, you know, my time in each one of these little towns. But that was a blast. Anyway, we ended up back in Southampton after spending a lovely time in Exeter. And then we drove on a lot of little windy country roads. I didn't want to take the like the M1s, M2s, M3, whatever you got over here. And so that was a blast. Then as I was preparing to, I returned the rental car the next morning in Southampton at Hertz, and I noticed a Hyundai dealer. So of course I went into the Hyundai dealer and just to check out what they have. That'll be a separate fun little video where I return the rental car and check out the what kind of cars they have at Richmond Hyundai in Southampton, England. Anyway, then we got on the boat, and it was just an awesome boat. Hats off to Royal Caribbean, the Anthem of the Seas, an incredible boat. And we ended up down in La Rochelle, France. And we actually toroed a Model Y, a white Model Y of all things. But that was a lot of fun. We decided this was our friends Robert and Joanne came with us on this trip, and we decided we wanted to go all the way to Bordeaux. Turns out it was pretty far to get down to Bordeaux. So we ended up doing a road trip in the Model Y, some of these tiny little country villages, a lot of fun. And we ended up in a little town called Cognac. And, you know, I don't know what it is about France, but they name their towns after liquids, you know, champagne, cognac, Bordeaux. Just kidding. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. And then we ended up taking the boat all the way down to Bilbao, Spain. I didn't have enough time to rent a car down there, and so it's more of a travelogue style video. But what I do is I go in search of EVs in Bilbao, Spain. And I think you'll have a lot of fun watching that video. Another video that will be coming out is another in search of EVs, La Coruna, Spain. Beautiful little town. And that was really quite amazing. Then we took the boat back up to Le Havre, France, and where I rented a Nissan Qashqai. I tried to get an EV. I got the closest thing to it. It's a 2024 e-Power, which is basically a hybrid, but it's a little different than a hybrid because it, much in the same way that you'll see, I discovered how this giant ship, the Anthem of the Seas, works. This is similar to a Chevy Volt in the sense that the gas engine, the 1.5 liter turbo engine, actually powers a generator that then electrically delivers the energy to the motor, which spins the wheels. So pretty cool time. You'll be seeing a review on that. And where we went in that vehicle was we drove down to Normandy, France, to Omaha Beach, a place that I've always wanted to go to and visit. Obviously a very solemn place to be. And we ended up going there. This 2024, as many of you know, is the 80th year of anniversary of D-Day. And of all things, we were able to attend Normandy and Omaha Beach and the American Cemetery on July 4th. Super special, super moving video. I'm going to be doing a whole separate video, not on the car, but just on my visit to the National Cemetery in Omaha Beach. I, for one, think it deserves it. It was just an incredible experience. So anyway, then what we did was we had our July 4th celebration on the boat, on the ship. I keep calling it a boat. Kathy yells at me. It's not a boat. I mean, the thing is freaking huge. And we ended up going back up to Southampton, where I rented from SAIC, another Chinese company, an MG4 EV, which is what I'm cruising around England now. And that's how I'm up here in Stratford upon Avon. And we're going to be going over, assuming it stops raining, I want to take Kathy over to Warwick Castle. It's just an amazing castle. It's like 1,000 years old, over 1,000 years old. And, you know, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So that'll be a separate video on the MG4, a review of that, and sort of a road trip around England, where we went, and actually yesterday we went to the town of, where did we go? Not Exeter. I forget. You'll see. I mean, my mind is kind of a bit of a blur. In addition to that, a very special video, I was able to reach out to Royal Caribbean Senior Management, and I scheduled a time with not the captain, but the ship's chief engineer. And this guy was awesome. He's 25 years in the business. He said no one's ever asked to talk to him. And so we sit down with him, and he took us, both Kathy and myself, into the engine control room, which is just awesome. And I wanted to learn about how these massive cruise ships work, because there's a lot of controversy. You know, they're not super clean in the way that they work, and I'm not going to say that they are super clean, but I learned a lot about the way that they're powered and the way that they think about the environment. In addition, I went and took a behind-the-scenes tour of the entire boat. So if you're interested in how a major ocean ship cruising boat, over like 1,100-foot-long boat, works and operates, I went into the galleys. I went down into this corridor down on the second floor. They call it I-95, that runs the entire length of the boat. I learned so much about the ship, and how they do laundry and all these different things. And it caps off that video, which I have yet to edit, with the mechanics and how the ship actually works. So yeah, so you know, we're gonna be flying out tomorrow out of London Heathrow and heading back to New York, Connecticut. And I've got to get back to work. Kathy's gonna get back to Florida and start her her true vacation, which is hanging out down on Marco Island. But what a magical time we've had. I can't wait to share all this content. I think I've got 11 or 12 videos to edit, and I think you're going to enjoy them. At least I hope you will. A lot of new content in terms of cars, and a lot of new places for you to see and for us to share. A lot of fun banter and a lot of experiences where we're having a lot of laughs with Rob and Joanne. And so anyway, so that's what's happening, and that's what we're going to be doing. So thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave. Stay tuned for a lot of really good content to come, including new content that I have already filmed about my Model 3 rear-wheel drive, the 2024 refresh, and can't wait to get back to that. I'll be selling the Chevy Volt towards the end of this month in July, and really can't wait to continue to make content for all of you. For all those people that I ran into at charging stations, whether it was in France or actually viewers on the boat that we ran into as well. It was great meeting you. Anyway, thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.